We are going to hit the first song on the playlist. It's called Don't Give Up. So you can go ahead and hit that right now. The music starts. The heart starts. The legs start. Everything's kicking in. And we've got 5 minutes. I will be right back. Okay. Taking my notes. All right, we are riding 5 minutes easy, and then we're going to start the warm-up intervals. The warm-up intervals are 2 minute, 1.5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. So we have 4 intervals. Right now, we are just getting acclimated, prepping the body. So whatever you need to do, you take a few deep breaths. Your RPM may be in the 80s. Yeah, nice stretch is good. As you inhale and exhale, just relax your body. Try to focus on what you feel in that pedal stroke. It should be circular. So you want to kind of feel like the leg is moving up and over and down and under, right? Up, over, down, under. It's not just pushing down. And you also have to think about the legs working in opposition. So I've trained, I want to say I hit about 1,000 women for their first triathlon. I never really counted, but it's got to be about that. And, you know, the first day on the bike, everyone shows up with their helmets on backwards, with baggy pants. And I'm like, okay, all right, we got to fix this. They got like reflectors all over the bike. And, you know, we have to make them into cyclists. So we pull all those reflectors off the bike. We turn the helmets around. We tell them to get some cycling shorts or tight pants. And then we teach them technique. And you can make someone way more powerful on a bike in 1 day. 1 day. That has nothing to do with fitness. You just fix their technique. So if they're riding with no gears, like no resistance on their legs, they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to develop any power. So you've got to teach them to be a little honest about that, which you can pay attention to right now if you want to. It feels like you're just going around, you know, a wonder wheel kind of feeling, and you're not powering that circle, then just add a gear until you are indeed powering it. That is the downside of indoor bikes, is you can really, really cheat. So outside, it's not really possible, unless you're just in a super low gear and kind of coasting. But so we fix that. We give you the honest gear that your muscles can support. Right now, you want to be in a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, because we're just warming up. But you also want to pull up, over, down, and under. Up, over, down, and under. On Monday, we're going to do some single leg drills. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that. But today is lactate threshold day. Fridays are when we hit it hard. We're not going to start out there. So you'll get to ease into it. By the time we get there, you're going to be ready. If I told you to go and hit an attack right now, you'd be like, whoa, 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 slow your roll. so be ready. All right, so I've got my timer here. Your song should have changed. If it did not change, you can go to September, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And we're gonna go standing climb in the 60s. 3, 2, and 1. Add, come on up. This is just a wake-up call. You can stay seated. If it just doesn't feel right to come up, that's okay. You can be on the rhythm for this song. 1, 2, 1, 2. In about 20 seconds, we're gonna have a seat and we're gonna take the RPM up to 100 on a flat road. Gentle wake-up call right now. 3, 2, 1. Have a seat, lighten up the resistance. Now get your legs to about 100 RPM. This should not be hard. I mean, if you never go to 100, then yeah, it's gonna take your heart rate to an uncontrollable place. But we've been doing this, so we should be okay. "30 seconds more, and then you have a break. The warm-up is preparing us. We're doing 60s and 100s because today's ride is gonna be inside of that. We're gonna be going 70s and 90s for our main set. 3, 2, slow down, lighten up if you need to, and you have 1 minute rest. The next interval is only 1.5 minutes. It's a little bit shorter. And if you want to, you're gonna take it up 1 notch on the effort. In the warm-up, I just want you to go by feel. So just feel it out. Our main set today has part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is practice. Part 2 is the real deal. So the warm-up, just feel it out. This song reminds me of one of my favorite movies of all time, by the way, The Intouchables, the French movie. If you have not seen it, watch it, and you're welcome. Seriously, one of the best movies I've ever seen. All right, you ready? Standing climb. 3, 2, geared up. Now we're back in the 60s, right? It's kind of another little detriment that we have to reach down to change gears on these bikes. Olive has it at her fingertips. So we've got 1 minute up here, and then we just have 30 seconds flat. Maybe this is a scratch harder than the last interval, but no struggle. No struggle going on. 3, 2, 100. Have a seat, lighten up. Get to 100 RPM. You have 8 seconds. Then we take a break. 3, 2, and you're done. All right, lighten up if you need to. Sit up if you need to rest your back. And bring the heart rate down. Right about now, you're noticing whether or not this is going to be a good day, right? You're either feeling like, yes, chomping at the bit, or you're feeling like, I hope this gets better. Can't really predict that. Yesterday, I rode my bike to the mountain, and then I started a trail run, and halfway through that trail run, I was like, my legs felt so heavy. So I just walked. That's all right. It happens. All right, so now we got a 1-minute standing climb. That's it. A smidge harder than we've been going. 3, 2, 1. 60s RPM. Come on up. We're building the efforts, climbing the ladder. Try to enjoy it. You have 30 seconds to go. $15 seconds to go. Three, 2, 1 minute rest. So take the weight off the legs, relax, 1 minute rest. Bring the heart rate down. And now we're gonna kind of step on the gas. When I tell you, we'll be doing a 30-second seated flat at 100 RPM. I'm just kind of hanging out in the 80s right now. Not because it was my favorite decade. Although when I think of clothing, 60s. I want to wear go-go boots. I want to have big hair. 60s are my favorite dress code. All right, y'all ready? So 30 seconds seated flat. That's all it is 30 seconds. 100 RPM. I want you to put your foot on the gas and rev it. 3, 2, 1. So the only way you're going to rev this is with a lot of weight on the legs. You can't just go 100 and expect that only speed will get you there. We need weight. Draw circles. Up and over the top. 8, 7, 6. You're done. All right. This is recovery. You can go ahead and hit the next song. It's called Two Trails. Go ahead and hit it so that the music in your ear or in your room, wherever you're listening to it, tells you it's time to take a break. We have 3 minutes. So as I said, the main set is in 2 parts. Part 1 is practice. Part 2 is the real deal. Practice, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. The real deal, 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute. So with these 1 minute intervals, you're gonna try to go to zone 4. You're gonna get a minute rest in between each one and a longer rest when they're done. RPM now is not 60s and 100s. It's 70s and 90s, so we're gonna pull it in. So that's kind of fast for the hill. If you always pedal super slow when you're on a hill, that means everybody's gonna be waiting for you at the top, wondering what the hell happened to you, because you're just pedaling too slow. You're not going really anywhere. So if it's a steep hill, oh yeah, you might have to do that, but we're gonna try to kind of aggressively get ourselves up these hills. 1, 2, 1, 2, and really push. Take some water if you need it. Take deep breaths. Prepare yourself. Now this is gonna sound crazy, but zone 4 on a scale of 1 to 10 is like a 7. It is 80 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. And this is why I always say that once you hit 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, it starts to get uncomfortable. And 6 is no joke. And then 7 is already at your threshold. And then 8, VO2 max, 9 and 10 are sprints and power surges. So this is about a 7. Why I'm telling you this, I want you to know that 7 is uncomfortable, but in a good way. This is how we practice simulating a race pace. All right. We're gonna get started with the first one. It's only a minute. We're gonna start seated flat in the 90s and then go to a standing climb in the 70s for the first one. All right? It's only a minute, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. All right, y'all. If your song has not changed, go ahead and hit the next one. It's called Wish You Well. We're getting to the 90s, so gear it up, put on the resistance you want. 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're going to zone 4. It's just a little taste, it's just a minute. Heavy breathing. When I tell you, you add a gear, you get up in the 70s. 3, 2, 1. Check your RPM. 70s, y'all. You have 8 seconds. 3, 2, done. Take a break. 1 minute rest. Take all the weight off. I think I went too hard. But because technically, you should be able to hang on to that feeling for 5 minutes, because that's where we're going after this set is over. So think about that. But it definitely should have felt like, oh, game is on. Yeah, that was the first interval of not warm up. We're gonna do the same exact thing, but we're not getting out of the saddle for the climb. Reach down and gear it up, ready? 90s RPM, put enough weight on. 3, 2, 1. Get right back to zone 4. 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. Conversation, really a struggle. When I tell you, you're gonna add gear and slow your legs to the 70s. 3, 2, 1. Now we're on a seated climb. In the 70s, by the way, you can be 70, you can be 79. And done. Take a minute. Usher, usher. I did a dance routine to this song with all my dance friends that I used to compete against. We got together and did a performance together. Memories. All right, we're gonna do that one more time. This time, 90s and then 70s, your choice, whether you wanna stand or stay seated or do a little of each. Make sure you go right back to zone 4. After this, 3 minutes rest. All right, gear it up. We're going to the 90s in 3, 2, 1. Come on. It's always hard to kick it off, but once you're in it, you start feeling like, bring it, bring it. Warrior, Melissa, warrior. All right, this is rider's choice, in or out. Ready? Let's do it. Reach down, add 70s. Long break coming after this. Three, 2, woo, you're done. All right. You can go and hit 2 trails. That's the next song. Back to that 3-minute recovery. Hoo-ah. All right, so your practice is over. Get it in your head well before we start what you're about to do. 5 minute, 5 minute, 5 minute. But listen up, 2 minutes rest, not 1, 2 minutes rest. So you can go hard. We're gonna go every minute, flat, hill, flat. First one we do, all seated. Second one we do, option for standing climbs. Third one we do, rider's choice. Now we did our 20-minute threshold test already in one of our previous sessions. And today we're doing 18 minutes of threshold, right? We did 3 already, we have 15 to go. And we're breaking it up. We're breaking it up so you can maybe push to the higher end of your thresholds. And remember all the things that happen when you train at threshold, right? So it's like you're in a rowboat in the middle of a lake and you have a bucket. There's a hole in the boat, the water's coming in, and you are trying not to drown, not to sink, right? You don't know how to swim, so you're bucketing out the water. Eventually, the boat sinks because 1 bucket is not enough. After your body trains for a month, 6 weeks, you're in that boat with 5 friends and 5 buckets, and you're bucketing it out. You last so much longer. You'll be able to make it back to shore. And that's what happens with the lactic acid buildup in the body. Your body's about to practice buffering it out so you can last. I really have to do a cartoon like that one day, so. All right, the break is almost over. So now you just need to get something in your head that means something to you. I have no problem with you thinking about other people from time to time, but you also sometimes just have to have your own goal for yourself. So get your goal in your head, whatever it is, so that you have something to focus on. We're gonna reach down and hit the next song. Ready? All right, reach down. It's called Insomnia. Go ahead and hit Insomnia. RPM is 90s in the saddle, and we're starting in 3, 2, 1. All right, this is 5 minutes now. If you feel like, oh, I added too much weight, or I'm pedaling too fast, I need more weight, fix it. Oh, stay there. Now you know you gotta last for 5 minutes, and you also know you're actually thinking about this, that you're gonna have 2 minutes rest. Remember, the first interval is seated. 3, 2, reach down and add. 70s. Breathe, breathe. This is the work. You got to give yourself a reason. You've got ambition. You want to experience breakthroughs. You want change to happen. We're not here to burn calories. Our goals are much more valuable than that. 3, 2, 1, lighten up. Go back to the 90s. Be careful. Don't recover. By the way, on the next interval, on the next climb, in this interval, it's hard to talk. We're gonna take the heart rate. You don't have to, but if you want to. You're in the 90s, and you know you're about to go to the 70s. Three, 2, reach down, add, slow the legs. All right, listen, we're gonna do a 20-second count. In 10 seconds, find your heart rate. But keep climbing. You gotta keep the heart rate up. 3, 2, count. Done. Times that number by 3. I got 46. Listen, 1 minute of flat now, and we take a break. Don't leave me. 3, 2, 1, lighten up. 90s. I think I lightened up too much. Be honest. 40 seconds to your recovery. Come on, we're gonna take a break, and then we just do this 2 more times and we're done. Countdown. 4, 3, 2, done. Take the weight off. So I got 138 was my heart rate. I have a very low heart rate. I can tell you this, I haven't seen 160, 170 on my heart rate in 10 years. I mean, I can get it there. I don't even know if I can get it to 170, but I might be able to just hit 160 for like a little bit. Here's the deal, the numbers don't matter, meaning higher or lower is not better. But when you start remembering these numbers, then you can compare it to yourself. You don't compare it to other people, you don't compare it to charts, you compare it to yourself. Bésame. I'm coming back in my next life to marry David Bisbal. All right, you should be relaxing. We have 30 seconds and we're gonna do it again. What's the difference this time? You can come out of the saddle for the climbs. I'm gonna come out because we're gonna do it a little different. You gotta make sure, because when you go from a standing climb to a seated flat, most people let their heart rate come down. It's because, oh, all of a sudden I sat down, and oh, all of a sudden I'm working with a lighter weight. Well, let me light up a cigarette. No. You've gotta stay in the game. All right, y'all ready? Seated in the 90s, geared up. We're going in 3, 2, 1, hit it. Get psyched, y'all. This is our second bout of 5 minutes. Bésame is in the 90s. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you gotta ask yourself, do you need another gear? Are you where you're supposed to be? Think about the best athletes in the world, and what separates them is sometimes a 100th of a second in ability. It's actually not ability. It's not physical ability. It's mental. Who's on their mental game that day? 3, 2, add, standing climb, but not in the 60s, y'all, 70s. You can stay seated, especially if you're on a real bike. Heart rate should not be going crazy high. It should be right where it was, on the flat. Ten seconds. This is the transition I was talking about. 3, 2, we sit, we lighten up, we go to the 90s. Is it getting easier? Oh, well then, You ain't gonna make it on the podium today. You gotta be willing to stay in it. The interval is halfway done. We're not taking heart rate on this one. We'll do it on the last one. You got another hill. 3, 2, 1. 70s. Pull up on the pedals. All right, I lied. We're gonna take heart rate on the flat. I wanna know mine. You have 1:20 to your break, so don't you give up. Who gets on the podium? Those that don't give up. Three, 2, have a seat. Now, 90s, hurry up and get the right resistance going. Because we're gonna take heart rate in 10. Find your heart rate. Don't stop riding. 3, 2, count. Done. Can now ride it to the end. Come on. This is 4, 3, 2, done. You have 2-minute rest. Take your break. So I got to 150 on that. Sorry, yeah, 150 as a heart rate. I went up 12 beats. It's a lot. But, you know, this is all like experiment, right? So maybe my heart rate is higher on a flat because last time we measured it on a hill. Or maybe I'm getting fit. So with each interval, I can actually go harder. I'm not depleting myself so much that I can't perform. All right, we're gonna do that one more time. And then we have our warm down. So I want you to attack this one. The climbs are your choice. And we will take the heart rate one more time. So think about what I said. Maybe it motivates you about athletes and how their physical abilities are so close. They're so close in what they can do. I mean, there's some superstars out there that can't be touched. You know, that's why Michael Jordan probably made more money off sneakers than he did off basketball, right? But mostly it's who's having their best mental day. Whew. We're going in 20, y'all. Have a little moment to yourself. Breathe. Ready? Or not? Geared up. 90s RPM. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. 5 minutes, y'all. And we're done with this. We have a nice warm down planned. Keep an eye on that RPM. Don't drift. I'll be honest with you, Melissa, only because you told me you're drifting sometimes when I'm not yelling at you. So if you can drift, you're not in threshold. Because imagine you're having a fist fight in the middle of the street. Can you actually think about what's for dinner? Fucking hell no. Because you're in a fight. Zone 4 is a fight. Ready to climb? Rider's choice, but in the 70s. 3, 2, gear it up. I'm gonna do a little of each. We're taking heart rate on the next climb. Sorry, you know what? I'm gonna take it on the flat. I keep changing my mind, but if you guys are standing, you can't take your heart rate up there. Get in the fight, man. It's such a short amount of time to dedicate. 8 seconds, and we're going flat. 3, 2, lighten up. All right, you're flat. 90s RPM. We'll take our heart rate next time. I like this song. Woo! Get it, get it. Woo, woo. Come on, ladies. We're building an army. We are the soldiers. You're gonna get on another hill. It's rider's choice. 3, 2, 1, add 70s. In or out, it doesn't matter. I watched on Netflix Becoming with Michelle Obama last night. So good. Woo. It's all about female power. In 20 seconds, we get on the flat. Then you only have 1 minute to go. But we're gonna take the heart rate. Don't change your heart rate. Just hold it. Don't cheat. 3, 2, 1. 90s. Faster. Now, adjust it. Make sure you're not dropping in your effort. Find your heart rate. We're counting in 3, 2, go. Done. Ride it out now. Harder if you want, 15 to go. Three, 2, woo. 2 minutes rest, and then we're gonna do an actual warm down. If you wanna hit the next song, better off without you. Go ahead and hit it. Two minutes rest, and then I want you to do a little heart rate catcher. So we're gonna take the effort up very little. Catch the heart rate and pull it down. So my heart rate went back to the first count. So back to 138. So I guess I could say, you know, 138 to 148 is probably my threshold range right now. When we finish today, y'all can give me your numbers. What I actually want is only one number. I want the average of the 3 times. So for me, that means 142. Relax your mind. In 20 seconds, we're gonna do a 1-minute heart rate catcher. So I'm assuming your heart rate is still a little elevated. So I want you to go up to where it is, grab it, and bring it down. All right, seated climb. Reach down, RPM can go to the 60s. This is very light effort. Send your heart rate up just a little. So next week, well, we do have our 1:30 in the afternoon workout today. Still talking about what brings us joy. And we're gonna talk about our childhood today. But then next week, it would be a good one to tune into. It is about what are your barriers to high performance? What are your barriers, not mine? Everybody has their own barriers to high performance. Three, two, take all the weight off the legs. Let them spin out, bring the heart rate down. And if you want to, you can hit the last song. It's a nice song. It's a good one to warm down to. Just take 2 minutes and then we're done. My eyelashes are sweating, Olive. I love when Olive tells me her eyelashes are sweating or her elbows are sweating. Actually, when I hit my super, I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but when I hit my super high efforts, my teeth vibrate. I can feel that. It's like, oh my God.